Alrighty, greetings and salutations, my YouTube people. I'm back here again doing some network testing, and this is my Omega route. So, the route that I'm doing today is my Omega route, and it consists of going down the spine of DC. So, going from Arlington Cemetery across the river and near the monuments, near Jefferson Memorial, near a lot of government buildings towards the United States Capitol. So past the Lincoln Memorial, as you can see here. This route pretty much makes it where we can get a good idea about how the rest of the region is, because whatever upgrades that happen here, they happen all over the city. So I've already done AT&T and I've already did T-Mobile, and N41 is prevalent all over this whole area, even across the mall. So we're gonna see if C-band is here yet. I don't think it is, but I know that CBRS is closer towards the Capitol, and we're going to check and see how the network is holding up. It is technically rush hour for DC right now, so we're going to get a good idea about how well Verizon is holding up in the DMV. So currently right now, Verizon is using band 66, 15 megahertz, no DSS or dedicated 5G currently right now. So let's go ahead, and they're already kicking the lights on. Let's get a speed test going. And are we aggregating anything? So 66, 15 megahertz, and then another 10 on top of that with band 66 again. And that's giving us 25 down, and what are we getting on the up? 16 up. I think that's 16. 16.8. Let's do the imperv. And while that's firing up, let's get ready to go. So if anybody's new to the channel, this route that I do is what I consider one of my most important routes. I'm leaving the Arlington Cemetery area, which I like to add that if you come across a veteran, please tell them that you appreciate their service. They are very modest about it, so they're not going to be very braggadocious. Me personally, they served and I didn't, so freedom is not free. So right now it's doing imperv, and we're getting ready to cross from Arlington Cemetery towards the Lincoln Memorial currently. So you probably will start seeing it on the picture in just a moment. It is a rainy day. Alright, so we got some N5 action. N5 10 megahertz. Alright, so we're crossing the bridge, going from Virginia into DC. Imperv just finished, so we're at 41.07 down and 14 up. So right now we're testing on my Omega route version 2. So the Independence Avenue side is version 2. The Constitution Avenue side is version 1. So I already did version 1. I have it posted already. Get a chance, watch that video so you can see what DC looks like on both sides of what they call the mall. The mall is basically just a series of all the monuments and museums roughly in one single area. Alright, so coming across the Lincoln Memorial currently. I gotta come back over here during rush hour again and do some more network testing on Verizon. But right now this is the closest I'm gonna be able to get to test, because it brings me within about a couple hundred feet of the monument as I'm driving. Alright, so what do we get for speed test? Alright, so we got 73 down. What do we got for the upload? 12.5 up. Alright, imperv again. Well, I take advantages of this light being here. Doing the speed testing between summer and fall. I know that C-band is supposed to be released in this area Q4 or near the end of Q4. So you get a chance to see what Verizon looked like before and after if there's no C-band currently in my area. If it's going to be there, it's going to start showing up right about now. If not, it's going to probably be like December before it starts showing up. Alright, so we're heading down on Independence Avenue currently. The next monument that we're going to end up passing by is going to be the Mlk Memorial. I did some network testing at night over there. I need to come back over here during the day again and see what it looked like when it's crowded. We constantly get a comparison of what the networks perform like, how much money you paying for, and is it worth it? That's the question. Is it worth it paying premium top dollar for Verizon? We're gonna find out soon enough. Alright, so we were on 66 for probably about a quarter of a mile. Now we switched to band 2, 15 megahertz for Verizon. So like 106 down and 8 up on speed test. Now to give a little bit of context, on the service menu, the first cellular band that you see, that's the connection band that actually does most of the heavy lifting for the networks, or with communicating between your phone and the network. So that's the one that's going to do all the handshaking. It does the handovers from cell to cell. That's the heavy lifter. The other ones are aggregators, which gives it more data and more throughput. So right now we're just testing the capacity of what Verizon can do. Verizon does micromanage their network a lot more heavily, so you do have to take it with a slight grain of salt different than what AT&T and Verizon, AT&T and T-Mobile does. They heavily micromanage their sites. Now, if y'all gonna let me come over, I'll be grateful. And I take that as a no. Alrighty. So Imperv just finished. 56.14 down and 37.85 up. Browsing and streaming looks pretty good. %, and 89% for browsing and streaming. Alright. Another speed test. 148. I have noticed this, that within the last, I say 6 or 8 months, Verizon has unleashed a lot more capacity on their network. Could it be because of the competition that they're seeing? I don't know. But it was always hovering between the 20s and 30s on their network. But now it seems that they've let it open up a little more. All right, so we're coming towards more of the governmental buildings. The building that's to our right, I think, is Department of Agriculture. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I've seen the name on it a couple times. And we're currently connected to N261. So there is millimeter wave around here. I think I know where the node is. It's to the right of us, down on 14th. So we're getting millimeter wave propagation in the area. Now the question is will it show as network capacity on the speed test? That's the question. So we do have millimeter wave here in DC, and they're using CBRS here in DC also. Alright, so it didn't show up as much. We got 50 down, 52 down, 34 up. Browsing and streaming still respectable. Don't get me wrong, Verizon is the gold standard, but that standard is starting to move. Alright, so where we at? 15.5 down. And 24.6 up. So that's congestion. We are coming towards where all the government people must have Verizon. So it's a combination between Verizon and AT&T down here on this side of town. I didn't have the same up and down, backwards and up and down combination for T-Mobile. So not many government workers are going to be on T-Mobile over here. Alright, so band 2, 15 megahertz. We got N5, 10 megahertz. And band 66, 10 megahertz. And also another band 66, 15 megahertz. So Verizon is giving it all she can currently right now. Looks like they've got more carrier aggregation going on closer towards the capital than they do away from the capital. That's what I'm discerning right now. So we're coming near the Air and Space Museum, passing 7th Street. 7th Street Southwest. Alright, so 165 down and 59 up. So apparently Verizon AT&T favors the capital more than they do everywhere else. That's what I'm starting to understand now as I've done these tests back to back. I start getting better network capacity as I move towards the capital. So they probably making the bet that the Congressmen and women and the Senate men and women are more on Verizon and AT&T than they are on T-Mobile. And Verizon's at 71 down. It look like it's 42 up. Alright, so we're on Capitol Hill now. So this is where your congressmen and women come from your districts and your hometowns to come and work. So what type of cell service are they connected to? And more than likely, they're probably on whatever cell service they use in your neck of the woods or your hometown. So it looks like it's going to be predominantly going to be AT&T and Verizon probably for right now. Not many people do I come across and talk to are on T-Mobile as much. Alright, so because it's still rush hour, I don't think I can make a left turn here. I might be able to. can. Yes. Left turn. Alright, so we're over here by the National Archives. The Capitol is to our left. And the Supreme Court is dead ahead to our right hand side. I hope they haven't blocked the road yet. Nope. So we are going to get a very good view of the Capitol at night. Or in low light, anyway. So the U.S. Capitol right here in front of us. What type of network speeds are we getting right here near the Capitol? Right now we're at 53 down and 22 up. That is far better than what AT&T was showing. Get a couple more network pools. So we're doing 3 carrier ag. No, only 2. 2 bands of 66, 15 megahertz and 10 megahertz. No N5 and band 2, 15 megahertz. Sitting right here in front of the Capitol. So Verizon has this area blanketed pretty well. So the RSRP, RSRQ, and SINAR are all within what they call superb specs. Alright, so we're at what, negative 87? That means there should be a antenna probably within maybe even less than a quarter mile of me. It might be on top of one of the government buildings off to either my right or left. These buildings will probably house a couple of antenna arrays for the respective carriers. Alright, so Imperv gave us 43 down and 39 up. Good browsing, good streaming. One more speed test for the road. Oh, we do have a N5 sighting. Didn't show up before. I don't know what Verizon's doing with their N5. AT&T at least kicks theirs on, but Verizon doesn't let theirs stay on. And we're at 108 down and 35 up for good old Verizon. Alright, my good people, thank y'all for watching the video. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you got any questions or concerns, if you think that I might have came up with my results a little differently, I'll be happy to hear from you. I will be probably redoing this test again for both sides, both A and both side 1 and side 2, once C-band and DoD comes back in for Verizon and AT&T, so we can keep the comparison legit and up to date. All right, people, thank y'all for watching, and y'all have a very good one.